All right, it's Halloween, so what are some of the health risks to be aware of on Halloween? Check it out. So first is just some of the flavorings and the colorings inside the candy. So you've got mint flavors like menthol, you've got pectin, you've got gelatin in those soft candies like the gummy bears, you've got certain dyes like carmine, which is a red dye. Some kids will react to these things. So about 1 in 400 people will react, have some type of an allergic reaction. The bigger concern, of course, is a nut allergy, so anaphylaxis to nuts. There was a study a few years ago suggesting that the two holidays that are most associated with nut anaphylaxis are Halloween and Easter. And on Halloween, you have about an 85% higher chance of peanut anaphylaxis compared to any other day of the year. So very important to be aware of nut allergies. So there's something called Halloween diarrhea. And this is if you have kids, particularly kids who have type 1 diabetes, who are having sugar-free candy, so sugar-free gum, sugar-free candy, they contain something called sorbitol, which is the artificial sweetener. If you get enough sorbitol in you, it will give you diarrhea directly. So these kids, you think they're sick, they're having diarrhea, but actually just stop eating the candy, it goes away. So it's all from the sorbitol. The biggest risk, of course, is getting hit by a car. And, kids are wearing dark costumes. They're running across the street. They're excited. They're wearing masks. They can't see very well. It's dark out. This is a very high-risk night. There have been a lot of studies looking at this. They concluded that Halloween night results in 4 additional fatalities from being hit by a car compared to the average other night of the year, particularly in young kids. So kids between 4 and 8 have a 10 times higher risk of dying by being struck by a car on Halloween night compared to any other night. So that's really important to keep in mind and to hang on to those little kids especially. The last one I get asked about is COVID. So that first Halloween after COVID started was kind of canceled by COVID because we didn't really know how the virus gets transmitted. Of course, now we know that outdoor transmission is a lot less than indoor transmission. So if you're trick-or-treating outdoors, 20 times lower risk of transmission than indoors. Of course, if you're going to a crowded Halloween party, you might be better off at this time of year because we're seeing so much COVID, wearing a mask under your other mask, wearing a medical mask to protect yourself. We used to worry about the candies having COVID on them. There was actually a study suggesting that if people with COVID handled those candies, 60% of them tested positive. 60% of the candies tested positive for signs of COVID. Of course, we now know that inanimate objects, what are called fomites, are very unlikely to transmit this virus. This virus really is something transmitted through the air. So obviously we want people to wash their hands before touching the candies, but we're not so fussed about transmission from the candies themselves. Go out there and have a great Halloween.